Well, there's one right there. So I would assume so. Wow. Oh my God. Look at that. Today is a monumental day. Today is the first day of what I would really consider to be pre-spring-like conditions. It's not quite snake spring, but it is spring for all intents and purposes. And we're gonna have a lot of amphibian breeding happening, I think, this week too. So we've got some really nice weather in the forecast, at least warm weather. There's a lot of rain forecasted, so I don't know how much snake activity there will be. I'm gonna start my first hike of the week here. We're basically going to be working our way up and down these ridges. It's about 50 degrees today. It's supposed to get up to around 55. So there is a chance we could see our first snake of the year, but I would be kind of surprised. What the skincella in a cave? There's our first herp of the day and our first little brown skink of the new year. I'm actually really surprised we found one of these before any kind of salamander today, given how cold it's been. But I have seen these guys running around when there's ice on the ground, so they are definitely one of our more cold-tolerant reptiles. All right, we're down in a little wet area, and here is our first salamander of the day. That's a little Prolapsus, I believe. What I'm really hoping to see down here is a spring salamander in its adult form. I'm sure that we could probably find a larvae or two if we sifted through this stuff. I want to say this is Conan tie. The head is a lot more rounded off. Prolapsus tend to have a kind of shovel-shaped head. Well, that's got to be the weirdest way I've ever found a spring salamander. I peeled back this moss and it is inside the moss. Holy cow. Hopefully you can hear me with all the running water. We had a lot of rain recently, as I've talked about before, but there's our first adult Carolina spring of the year. And it is a really unique looking individual. Look at these chevrons down the back. That is so cool. Well, in the turn of events that can only be described as tragic, I lost the salamander while I was trying to take photos of it. So not only did I not get any more video, but I didn't really get any photos at all. So I'm gonna poke around a little bit more and hopefully we can find another one. All right, it's not as big and pretty, but there is another one. A little bit smaller, regorn tail, but my second adult spring salamander from this spot, finally. I've been coming here for, not even kidding, almost 10 years, maybe even longer. Although I will say I haven't put too much effort into actually targeting these guys specifically until today. So really nice to actually get a couple. This one doesn't even have chevrons, it just has straight up spots. That is really weird. Man, that is so cool. Never get tired of them. This one's really small for an adult spring. We will put this dude back under his rock. So glad we found another one. Makes today feel like a lot more of a success that I was able to actually photograph one of these successfully. But I will let him go and probably start making my way back to the car. I'm gonna follow a different creek back and hopefully there will be some different stuff there. All right, guys, I do believe that's gonna be it for the day. I have another big hill to climb to get back to the car. I'm starting to get hungry, so I'm gonna get this hike over with, go get some food, and go get some rest so we can get up tomorrow and try to find our first snake of the year. We're gonna actually try really hard for a snake tomorrow. Is it happening? 60 degrees when I wake up in the morning? Is this spring? All right, just arrived at my destination and it is currently 65 degrees first thing in the morning. It is very wet outside, wetter than I'd like it to be in the winter, but I do still think we have a pretty good chance of seeing some snakes. So let's see what we can find. Well, I was going to say, if we find our first snake of the day today, I'm going to guess it's a green snake, cottonmouth, or Nerodia. However, I did just spot our first snake of the year, and it's a ribbon snake. Look at that, on the crawl too. This is also the fastest I have ever found a snake at this spot, so I hope that's a good omen for the rest of the day, but maybe we just got lucky. Very, very cool. Man, that feels good. Like I said, I was expecting to see something today, but it's always nice and a weight off the back to get your first snake of the year. And especially to see a snake so soon after that brutal cold snap. Makes me pretty optimistic about the weeks to come. So I also forgot to mention we are actually in Alabama today. So first snake of the year in Alabama for probably the first time ever. We'll send him on his way. I guess we're going to shoot for a king snake now. And of course, any other snakes we can find will be welcome, seeing as it's January. Another one. It's always amazing to me how quickly snakes respond to the slightest amount of warmth. I mean, it wasn't even 4 days ago we were having like record-breaking cold across parts of the United States. We even had a day less than a week ago where the high temperature was below freezing here. And only a few days later, we have multiple healthy snakes active on the surface. This guy doesn't want to let go. There he goes. Oh, would you look at that? That is a big, healthy, ooh, and a little bit grumpy brown water snake. I love their heads. Look at those eyes. They have such cool faces. You can hate on Nerodia all you want, but I think they're pretty underrated, especially when they're well behaved like this guy, or girl, more likely. Most of the big brown water snakes you see are females. In fact, that goes for a lot of water snakes in general, I think. There is something therapeutic about that. Just a big, healthy Nerodia on the first warm day of the year. You really love to see it. We'll leave this beautiful girl right here and try to get that king snake. I'm really optimistic about the king snake now. Don't want to get my hopes too high, but I think it could happen. Why are there ribbon snakes everywhere? That's number 3. Probably not going to mess with this one, although I do think it is the prettiest one of the day. Very clean. I think that's another brown water snake up in that bush. Kind of far away at the moment, but we'll get closer. Sure is another brown water. Just chilling up in the bushes. We'll leave that one alone. He's tiny. Well, that's not a brown water snake. That's our first cottonmouth of the year. And there he goes. I just flipped a little green tree frog. Kind of weird. He's very dark. Wow. That is a lot of frogs. We got another green tree frog right there. Mostly narrowmouths. There's another green tree frog. That is a ridiculous number of narrowmouths. All right, I'm gonna make a bold prediction that this is gonna have a narrowmouth. Wow, I was wrong. Well, I don't think I had pulling a rough green snake out of a crayfish hole on my bingo card today, but there he is. When I flipped him, he was actually coming up out of the crayfish burrow, like he was coming out to bask. That was really cool. Very weird thing to see. Might even be like a novel observation. I've seen rough green snakes out here this time of year before, so not really a huge surprise, but finding him coming out of a crayfish burrow was very odd. All right, this looks kind of snaky. Couple narrowmouths. Well, that's weird. That is a very brown green tree frog. All right, there's a couple more decent looking flips right here. That's very wet. I was looking at this from a distance and I thought it was a snake, and then I decided it wasn't a snake, and I got closer. It is a snake, another brown water. All right, I see at least one snake right here. It's another brown water. I just realized I'm actually looking at 2 brown waters. There's one right there and there. I think I might have flipped rough green snakes under this one before. Can't remember for sure. Well, there's one right there. So I would assume so. Oh my God. Look at that. I wonder if these are rough green snake eggs. They look a little big. But that is definitely last year's baby. These 2 do not seem as active as the first one did, so we're not gonna mess with them too much, but I did pull them out so I can put the log back safely. That is so cool. This year's baby, or last year's baby, and a big adult. Total of 3 green snakes now. That's always a nice addition to the day. Nice gray rat. I haven't seen too many of these in this area, but I'm assuming that's just a sampling thing because it's very good habitat. Happy to see one though. I was hoping we'd get one today. Today is starting to feel less and less like winter and more like the first day of spring. I'm loving it. We'll let this guy go. All right, guys, the day is not really winding down yet, but it's going to be soon. Wanted to poke around in this more upland area for a little bit. That's where I got the rat snake. Let's see if I can find a timber. I've never seen a timber here, and it looks so good for them. This is pretty cool. This is our 3rd cotton of the day. I didn't get to show the second one because it went down a hole. But that is as found, aside from the fact that his mouth's open. This guy's a little skinny, but he's nice and big. And showing us his pearly whites. All right, we'll leave him right there. All right, if I look exhausted, it's because I am, but we're coming up on the last stretch of habitat for the day. We've already been through here, but I think it's the best stuff in this area. There's a pretty well-hidden cottonmouth. You see him? There he is. Seems to be kind of chilling, too. This guy's got a little bit of the bubble eye going. This cute little dude has a nice basking spot. Yet another brown water, smallest one so far. I think we saw this guy on our first pass. Might be the only repeat find of the day. Little brown water. And right past that one we've already found, here is a new one. Very well hidden down in the grass. I think this one is the one that was our first brown water of the day. Just chilling right here where we found it the first time. Alright guys, that's going to be it for today and the first snake-involved episode of 2024. I hope you guys had as much fun watching today as I enjoyed today because, man, it was practically blissful to see this many snakes after the last month or so. It's been uncharacteristically relentlessly cold from basically Christmas to now. We did have that really good spell right around Christmas, but that was a long time ago at this point. We're almost to February. So yeah, no big targets today, but lots of snakes, and I had a great time. All right, guys, I have freshened up, and I'm about to head out for round 2. The video is actually not over because we're going to go look for salamanders. There is an insane rain front coming in, and I can't miss it. So let's go see what we can find. Well, there's our first salamander of the night. It's not a tiger like I was hoping for, but first road cruise adult spotted of the spring. Oh, man, look at that. Wow. All right, it was worth the drive. That was one of the sketchiest drives I've ever done in my life. And we got a tiger salamander fairly quickly, so we're gonna get some pictures of this one and maybe see if we can find another one. This looks like a gravid female though. Maybe headed to the ponds. And there's tiger number 2, a big male. Look at that tail. That is so cool. Heck yeah. That is such a cool animal. Look at this tail. That is awesome. Doesn't even look real. And there's spotted number 2. Pretty typical looking. I'm sure there's gonna be many, many more of these coming soon. There is tiger number, oh, it's a cool one. Oh my God. Look at that. What? That is one of the coolest animals I have ever seen. All right, that is so cool. That is such a weird looking tiger. A big male with that big paddle tail. And a really unusual pattern. I wanted to see a tiger like this forever now. And this is the first time I've seen a kind of abnormal. I mean, I guess I've seen relatively abnormal ones, but that is something else. And there is number 4. Look at that tail. He's got a cool face. That is so awesome. That is so cool. This is my best tiger salamander night ever in North Georgia. Usually I see like 1 or 2. This is our 3rd one in like 20 minutes. 2nd one in like 5 minutes. So cool. Another male. 3 males and 1 female so far. You can see how big this thing is. I mean, that's way bigger than your average spotted salamander. And that's a fairly average tiger. It's not even a big one. Well, that was a pretty unbelievable day, if you ask me. It's really been a great week so far, and we're just getting started. Today's Wednesday. We really herped Tuesday and Wednesday so far, and both days were pretty good. Got spring salamanders on Tuesday, and everything else in this video was on Wednesday. I know my time with those salamanders was very brief, but it is very difficult to get video and photos in the pouring rain. It actually has let up now, but I'm on the way home at this point. I don't know if you guys can tell how much water is on the side of the road. We got a lot of rain, and we've already had a lot of rain over the past couple weeks. It just hasn't been warm rain. This was finally warm rain, and I would imagine the spotteds and stuff probably got going tonight. We'll probably go check up on them soon. Look at this puddle I'm about to drive through. But for now, I'm going to wrap this up. Thank you guys so much for watching. This is actually going to be the end this time, and I will see you guys next time. Have you found your first snake of 2024 yet? Let me know in the comments if you have, and tell me what it was.